The Yellowjackets Season 3. Episode 6 ends with a surprise disclosure in the forest as two strangers prove the youngsters aren't alone. The youngsters had only seen an abandoned cabin with a corpse in the attic, a little plane, and a buried box of survival supplies since their 1996 plane crash from New Jersey to Seattle. After a year in the forest, Yellowjackets teens thought they might never see civilization again, until now. In Yellowjackets Season 3, the teens are savage and recognizable. They've hunted and cannibalized each other and often fought ruthlessly and sadistically. Therefore, they were unprepared for a strange man and woman to arrive during their feast of Coach Ben's corpse. These outsiders will have questions about the teens' past and why they decapitated Ben, but they also carry their own mysteries. An unidentified man, Nelson, and a woman, Ashley Sutton, are drawn to the teenagers' screams as they enjoy Coach Ben's feast. They don't look like they've been surviving in the wilderness for a long time, and unlike the teenagers standing before them, they didn't seem to have crashed into the wilderness. Instead, they resemble recently disoriented hikers, travelers, or maybe even locals, like the long-dead cabin guy of the Yellowjackets. Curiously, the teens never heard a crash signaling the arrival of new individuals in the neighborhood, unless those sounds were the screeches from the trees. Heard in Yellowjackets Season 3, these folks probably didn't show up in the woods until after the Yellowjackets cabin burned down in the Season 2 finale, though they might have been there for longer. The teenagers said the strangers should have been warned of their presence sooner due to the persistent odor and billowing smoke. Ben discovered a survival box marked K earlier in Yellowjackets Season 3, and it's likely that these individuals are responsible for its burial. The box itself didn't seem to have been sitting for long, and the cover gave the impression that it had been produced lately. The food and drink in the package didn't have a chance to spoil because Ben had thrown it so quickly. It will be difficult for the youngsters to decide whether to trust these individuals because they may be similarly lost or have deliberately sought refuge in the Kill the Strangers woods. The timing of their arrival could not have been worse. Despite the fact that these strangers appeared harmless and cordial as they approached the teenagers in the midst of their feast, the teenagers were spotted devouring Ben. They were dressed in their ceremonial robes and had been wailing and dancing around the fire since LTY had persuaded them to get closer to the wilderness powers. Coach Ben's severed head is displayed on a platter, and the man looks about at the teenagers. He then shouts out as the episode cuts to black. Even though the kids have been removed from regular society for a year, they are nevertheless aware that dancing around a recently beheaded person is a sign of disaster when a stranger witnesses it. Even though Shauna had expressed in her journal their fear of facing civilization upon their return due to the terrible things they had done, they were unprepared for the realization to strike while they were still in the forest. When they explain to these people why they are yelling so passionately near Ben's skull on a platter, they'll need to get their tale straight. Their sacrificial ritual, cannibalism, and cult-like activities in the forest were kept secret from the public by the present-day Yellowjacket survivors. So, it appears that these newcomers will have a tough time. Given the strangers' level of knowledge, the kids will likely murder them or make an odd bargain with them to silence them. The future of these new figures doesn't seem bright. Though when Adult Van says in Yellowjackets Season 3, Episode 6 that everyone else who knew about their rituals has died, if we hadn't previously met the modern-day survivors, these mysterious newcomers would provide a whole new layer to the Yellowjackets narrative. But viewers know the truth about the teenagers' reunion with real-life friends and family. One of the most significant things is that we are aware these strangers will not hold the key to the adolescent rescue. They still have nearly a year to go in the wilderness before returning home. So, I'm concerned that these newcomers to Yellowjackets Season 3 will bring nothing but chaos and tragedy.